Your PySpark job can start burning money before your transformation logic even begins. That is the part many people miss. They blame joins, they blame Spark, they blame memory, but sometimes the real problem is much earlier. The job is simply reading data badly. And if you are preparing for data engineer interviews, this matters because debugging is not just about guessing fixes. It is about finding where the cost is coming from. In this series, we will debug slow PySpark jobs phase by phase. First, we will understand why jobs become slow while reading the data. Then we will understand why jobs become slow while transforming the data. Finally, we will understand why jobs become slow while writing the data. Today, focus only on the first question. Is the job slow because of how it reads the data? Most PySpark jobs follow this simple path, that is read data, transform data, write data. If the read phase is inefficient, every next step becomes expensive. The first read problem is reading too much data. Imagine your pipeline only needs recent orders, but it reads 5 years of history every day. Before Spark joins anything, groups anything, or writes anything, it already has wasted time scanning unnecessary data. The fix is to filter early when it is logically correct. Here, Spark reads the orders data and keeps only records from 2026 onward. So, instead of carrying the full historical dataset into joins and aggregations, the pipeline works with a smaller dataset. That means less data to scan, less data to shuffle later, less memory pressure, and low cluster cost as well. And here is the important interview point. This becomes much more powerful when the data is partitioned or organized by order date. If the folder is partitioned by date, Spark can skip older partitions instead of reading everything. That is partition pruning. So, a senior does not only say, I will filter the data. A senior asks, is the data layout helping Spark skip the files? The second read problem is reading too many columns. If your pipeline only needs 4 columns, but you are selecting 50 columns, every later stage becomes heavier. The fix is column pruning. Here, we only keep columns needed for the pipeline. In this case, they are order ID, customer ID, amount, and order date. This looks like a small change, but in a large PySpark job, it matters a lot because extra columns increase memory usage and they increase network cost and they increase the shuffle size as well and they make the job carry weight it does not even need. This is why Parquet is powerful because Parquet is a columnar format. Spark can only read selected columns instead of scanning every column like a plain text file. The third read problem is file format. CSV is easy to use, but it is not efficient for heavy analytics. CSV has no rich columnar storage. It is more expensive to parse. It does not give Spark the same advantages as Parquet or ORC. So, when a production data pipeline repeatedly reads large CSV files, the senior fix is not just to increase executors. The better design is usually land the raw data, validate it, convert it into Parquet or ORC, and then run heavy transformations on the optimized format. For example, here the first read handles the raw CSV. Then we write it into Parquet. After that, the heavy processing reads from optimized Parquet version. This separates raw ingestion from analytical processing. That is how production pipeline becomes faster and more reliable. The fourth read problem is too many small files. This is one of the silent killers of Spark performance. If Spark has to open thousands or millions of tiny files, it spends too much time listing files, planning tasks, and starting tiny pieces of work. The job looks busy, but it is wasting time and overhead. This is even worse on object storages like S3, ADLS, or GCS because listing and opening many files is expensive. The fix is compaction. Instead of keeping thousands of tiny files, create fewer reasonably sized files. Here, repartition changes the number of output partitions before writing. That can reduce the number of files created in the output folder. The exact number should depend on the data size and cluster capacity. Do not blindly use 50. The idea is simple. Avoid too many tiny files and also avoid one giant file. And write data in a layout Spark can read efficiently later. Now, how do you confirm read problems? Use the Spark UI. Do not guess from code alone. In Spark UI, check the input size, check the number of tasks, stage duration, and whether the job spends too much time before heavy transformations even begin. If the first stages are slow, the read path is suspicious. If the input size is much bigger than expected, the job is reading too much data. If there are too many tiny tasks, small files are likely hurting performance. If partition filters are not reducing the scan, partition pruning is not helping. Here is the cleanest interview answer for part 1. To debug the read phase of a slow PySpark job, I check whether the job is reading too much data, too many columns, inefficient file formats, or too many small files. Then, I reduce data early, select only required columns, use efficient columnar formats like Parquet or ORC, design partitions for pruning, and compact small files when needed. I also try to confirm the bottleneck using Spark UI instead of guessing. That answer sounds senior because it connects code, storage layout, execution cost, and business impact as well. A beginner usually says, the job is slow, so I will increase memory. But a senior says, before changing the cluster size, I will check whether the job is reading unnecessary data and burning money before the real logic starts. That is the difference. Because read performance is not just technical, it affects cost, delivery time, dashboards, reports, machine learning features, and trust in data systems. And think bigger as well. Data engineering is not just about making jobs run, it is delivering trusted data efficiently across analytics, finance, operations, marketing, customer experience, and powering business decisions as well. In part 2, we will move to the next phase, that is why PySpark jobs become slow while transforming the data. And question to you guys is, when your PySpark job is slow, do you first check what it is reading, or do you immediately start tuning Spark randomly? Comment down below.